Hi guys, welcome back to Elizabeth Ann Reads. I'm Anne. Today we are doing a book haul. So this is my April book haul. I had a goal to buy less books this year and that's not going super well. At least it didn't this month. But I have high hopes for the summer. We'll see. But yeah, let's just go through real quick what I've acquired recently. First of all, I received 2 books as a gift from my parents for Easter. The first is The Light of the Jedi by Charles Sewell. So, just in case you're not a Star Wars nerd, this is the first book in kind of what's supposed to be a new era of Star Wars. So the Skywalker saga has ended with the last movie, and we're entering into a kind of a new era that's separate from the Skywalkers. This goes quite a bit further in the past and deals with what's called the High Republic. So this is supposed to be the first book in kind of this new series, this new era of what's going to be coming up for Star Wars. I've heard kind of mixed things about this book, but that overall it's decent for a Star Wars book. I've never actually read a Star Wars book. I have a couple others on my shelves. I'm for sure going to get to this one in May. So yeah, I will let you know what I think. And then I also got the Brontes, Wild Genius on the Moors, The Story of a Literary Family by Juliet Barker. This is a massive, chunky biography of the Brontes. And I'll get to that someday. I don't know when. Alright, then I was starting to prep for Dewey's 24-hour readathon, which happened at the end of April, and I had too many books to choose from. I couldn't decide what I wanted to read. I was really having trouble narrowing it down. So I did what's completely logical and bought a whole bunch more books to choose from, none of which I read, by the way. So here are a few books that I picked up specifically for the readathon and then didn't read. The first is Ascendance of a Bookworm by Miyakazuki. This is actually a manga. I have never read a manga before. This is my first, so this will be my first one. I don't know that it's going to be my thing, but I am willing to give it a try, so I'll get to this one hopefully pretty soon. I also picked up Sorcery by Terry Pratchett. This is the next book I need in the Discworld series, so I'm not, it's fine that I bought it even if I didn't read it, because I'm going to need it soon. These next 4 books, I did pick up potentially for the readathon, but I blame them all on Chantel from An Intentional Life. Some of these had already been on my radar, some of them hadn't, and I watched, I can't remember what video. I think it was a 5-star reads before booktube video. I will link it down below. I will link the video where she talked about all these. So I just, went on a little bit of a book buying binge after watching her video. The first is Duel of Fire by Jordan Rivet. This is a YA, I believe, fantasy. This one had already been on my radar. Murphy Napier has talked about it before, so I'd already been wanting to read this one. And then Chantal mentioned it. It wasn't in my library system, so I just went ahead and ordered it. I don't know anything about these books, by the way. I don't remember what prompted me to pick them up in the first place. This is The Story Peddler by Lindsay A. Franklin. This is also fantasy. I'm not sure if this is YA or middle grade, but it has a pretty cover, and it has something to do with telling stories. And it looked interesting. I got Mark of the Raven by Morgan L. Busey. Again, another one Chantel talked about. And she's talked about this one before several times. And again, YA, I think, fantasy. First in a trilogy, I believe. So that's pretty much all I know. And then I also picked up The Wingfeather Saga by Andrew Peterson, book 1, which is On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness. I should have just gotten this from the library because I know Chantel loves it and I've heard other people that love it, but I also have people I know that didn't love it. So I probably should have just picked it up from the library and tried it first, but these printed hardbacks are really pretty. And so, yeah, I bought it. This is middle grade fantasy. We have lots of fantasy. So that's it. Those are the books I picked up for readathon that I didn't end up reading. Okay, and then I put in an order from Book Outlet because that's what I do, evidently. I picked up Brandon Sanderson's Legion, which I'm actually currently reading. And this is one of his more obscure, not fantasy novels. It's kind of a mystery thriller, mystery suspense maybe, but it deals with Stephen Leeds. I think it's like 2 novellas and a short story, technically. And yeah, Stephen has, it's not multiple personalities, but it's similar. And yeah, it's pretty interesting so far. I'm about halfway through, but I'm enjoying it. I also picked up Anne of Green Gables. This is the pocketbook edition because I already had 2 other editions and I needed a third. But I don't know if you've seen these. They came out a few years ago. There's only a few that came out. I think like this Puffin and Bloom series all came out in these. And then John Green's books, I think, came out in these as well. And the idea was that they'd make these little pocketbooks that open this way. And they're super thin little like Bible pages. But the idea is that you like read it with one hand like you would a cell phone. So it's supposed to replace, you know, you're supposed to be able to just like scroll up. It doesn't quite work that well, but that's the idea. But I thought it was cute, and I will add it to my Ellen Montgomery collection. All right, I also picked up York volumes 2 and 3, The Clockwork Ghost, and The Map of Stars. I have the first one in the trilogy, which I haven't read yet. These are middle grade, older middle grade maybe, like a steampunk alternate history type something. And yeah, I still haven't read the first one, but I went ahead and picked up 2 and 3. I picked up Song for a Whale by Lynn Kelly. This is a middle grade story. This has been talked about a lot throughout the last few middle grade marches. I was kind of on the fence about this one. And again, I probably should have just gotten it from the library, but it's the printed hardcovers that I love. It's so pretty. So I went ahead and picked that up. Speaking of printed hardcovers, I also picked up Two Girls, a Clock, and a Crooked House by Michael Poore. I know nothing about this. It's middle grade, I think, and cute cover. And again, it's that printed hardcover. So yeah, I got that. I got one more thing, and this one had been on my radar, and I don't remember where I heard about it or from whom I heard about it. But this is Songs for the End of the World by Salima Nawaz. And I think this has to do with a post-apocalyptic something. Yeah, that's it. But it sounded interesting, and so it had been on my want to read list, and so I picked it up. This cover's fine, but this spine, I love this spine. Really pretty. The cover's just fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just fine. But I like the spine. All right, and then I made one quick trip to the bookstore, the used bookstore. I was dropping off a bag of books, but you can't just drop off a bag of books. So I exchanged my big bag of books for 3 smaller books. They're not smaller books, but the pile's smaller than what I took in. You get it. I got less books than I had before. The first I got was The Sugar Queen by Sarah Addison Allen. I've talked about Sarah Addison Allen before. She writes kind of sweet romance, kind of family or community-oriented romance with a touch of magical realism. I believe this is the last of her books that I didn't own. I still have a couple that I haven't read, but I think this is the only one I didn't own. So I went ahead and picked up that one. I picked up Night Film by Marisha Pessl. Again, this is probably one I should have just gotten from the library, but it was used. It was fairly inexpensive. And I read Neverworld Wake by her last year and really enjoyed it, so I wanted to give Night Film a try as well. And then I also picked up Purge by Sophie Aksanen. This is another one that has been on my radar for quite a while. This is historical fiction. I think it's historical. But it deals with human trafficking. And it's set in Estonia. I actually traveled to Estonia when I was in college, my senior year. We did a choir tour and went to Estonia. And it still to this day is possibly my favorite place I've ever been. I absolutely loved it there. It was beautiful. And it's really hard to find books that are set there. So this has been kind of on my radar for quite a while, and I was surprised to see it there on the shelf. So I picked it up, and we'll hopefully get to this one soon as well. So that's it. Not a massive haul, but certainly more than I intended to buy this month. So yeah, that's it. If you've read any of these, let me know. What do you recommend I start with? What do you want to hear about the most? And I'll try and prioritize those in the next couple months here. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching.